Hi everyone! Welcome or welcome back. I'm tired of saying the whole thing, so hi. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Been a bit chilly over here, but we're good. It's still sunny, so you can still get blinded by my window. So, honestly, I've just been in a bit of a slump watching things wise. Like, I haven't felt like watching anything, neither new or old. It's been frustrating because I still have the desperate need of having something in front of me that moves and talks and has a plot and stuff, but I don't know what, right? So I've been sitting here for the past couple of weeks just trying to find something new to watch. I've been watching The Last of Us, but that's like on a weekly schedule, obviously, which is nice, but doesn't help when you need constant visual stimulation, I guess. So yeah, and I was thinking, you know what is really good background TV? Procedurals. Like the police procedurals, legal procedurals, medical procedurals, whatever. They're always really good because there's like a bajillion episodes and it's a monster of the week type thing, case of the week, whatever you want to call it. And it just passes the time and it's all good. But again, slump. I didn't really feel like starting ER all over again or Grey's Anatomy or NCIS or SVU. I did want to try and spice things up a bit with a new procedural. So I started watching the show The Blacklist, but that did not go well. Maybe I'll do a review about that, but it's just going to be angry ranting, and I know that makes for good YouTube, but I'm not about that life. So then, since I started watching all of these things, Netflix, turned the algorithm up to 11 and was like, you know what? One, here's a bajillion Scandinavian thrillers for you. And I was like, yeah, definitely on my watch list, but not right now. And then it suggested a Belgian show called Unit 42, or in French, Unité 42. But yeah, so it suggested that show, and I was like, you know what? French is good. So let me start there. And so here we are. And I watched the whole one season that Netflix Japan has. Apparently this show has 2 seasons, so we'll see. But let me talk about season 1. Unit 42 is a Belgian police procedural. It tells the story of a father of 3 and recently widowed police officer named Sam. And he, upon returning to the police, joins this cybercrime unit. In the unit, he is joined by Billy, and she's like a white hat hacker who was recruited by the police, but is kind of struggling with following protocols and procedures, and also may or may not be using her new position to discover, some information about some stuff that are private for her. While they are a cyber crime unit, all of their cases are homicides. They're basically homicide detectives, but all of the murders that are happening in the show have like a cyber twist to them. Somebody gets murdered using a drone, or there's a murderer that films the murders using a webcam, stuff like that. So there's like a twist, if you will. And yeah, so then this unit is called specifically in to solve said crimes. The show follows the tried and true formula of Monster of the Week, peppered in with a somewhat continuous thread for both Sam, who his whole shtick is he needs to learn to balance work life and family life, and also, open up and start dating again. And Billy is trying to find her hacker boyfriend, who is presumed to be dead. So those are the 2 let's call them undercurrent plot threads that are happening in the show. I mean, it's pretty common when you think about shows like The Mentalist. You also have that, like, you have the main, what was his name? Red something. And it wasn't prevalent in every episode, but every once in a while it'll pop back up and then come back down. So it's kind of like that. Those 2 plots kind of take center stage in the beginning of the show and near the end of the season. And in the middle, it's kind of not really existent. Especially like Billy's plot kind of gets very buried, and Sam's is more prevalent throughout, but also in a more lighthearted way halfway through. So it doesn't really bother me. That tends to be an issue in procedurals for me, which is why I tend to kind of give up on them later on, when all of the plot revolves around the main characters and they're the only ones who get injured or hurt, or something always happens to them, even though it's like they're the doctors or the lawyers or the police officers. Crime no longer happens to other people, and it gets very exhausting very quickly. So far, it's been pretty balanced. So the season is 10 episodes long, with each episode spanning around 50 minutes. You know, that's a good length. That's usually a length that I can binge pretty quickly. And yet, like, I struggled with binging. I watch like 1 or 2 episodes a day, and even that not every day. But, and it's a big but, I did really enjoy the show. It's just so, I thought it had wonderful acting. I thought it had a really good score. It had really great tension and pacing. Like, the episodes themselves were very compelling and interesting. The crimes were interesting to watch and see how they solve it. They don't like overload you with too much, you know, technical mumbo jumbo. Everybody's understanding how they're talking, and there's no jarring situations where they have to re-explain themselves too many times. It really builds up very well, the episode, and yeah. But, like I said, like, I really struggled with binging it. I think the combination of the cases, the darkness of the show itself, visually, it was pretty dark, and the aforementioned tension meant I needed a break every once in a while. I remember I tried to once like binge all of, what's the name of that show? Criminal Minds. I got paranoid, and it's not a good idea. Don't do that to yourself. So, really good show, maybe don't binge it. I did enjoy seeing how inexperienced Billy was in the field and how that affected her. I thought it was a really fresh point of view, if you will. Most of the times, like, those horrifying crimes, like the first time maybe you'll see an officer like throw up because of a scene or something, but then they're completely fine. Billy, it would take her quite a while to not get used to. She never actually gets used to things, and the things that happen in the field, or not even just in the field, like the cases affect her a lot, and they don't try to hide it. A lot of times Sam will be like, you know, how are you, or are you okay, and she'll be like, nope. And I think that's actually really nice. I don't know, it was a refreshing take. So her relationship with Sam, who is more jaded, more experienced, and just a darker persona, it was a really beautiful balance, and it builds well. And you can see that they care for each other. And it's not a will they, won't they situation. It's compelling. It's nice to see their friendship build. There are 2 other members in that unit. We have Bob and Nassim. And they're also very nice. But ultimately, they're quite forgettable. They each get like 1 episode focused on them each. But ultimately, we see so much less of them that in some episodes, it wouldn't even matter if they weren't there. We got 2 more characters. We have Helen, who's like in charge of everything, and you see her like once every 3 episodes. And we're supposed to care for her. I'm not entirely sure why. There was a whole subplot of her killing her fish and plants, and I did not understand where that was going, and it never did go anywhere. Maybe it pays off in season 2. She manages to keep a fish alive. I don't know. It was very odd. I did not understand. Maybe you did? Let me know if you know what was that all about. Yeah, so there's Helen, and then there's the pathologist. I forgot her name, which is unfortunate. But we don't get much about her other than the fact that she's deaf. But her scenes, even though she's the pathologist, she's the one that's with the dead bodies, the scenes with her tend to be weirdly on the lighter tone. Maybe it's because her room is the most well lit, but she's not bubbly, but she's kind of friendly and open, and she's a breath of fresh air type of presence. So I liked her. I hope she's more in season 2 as well. Overall, I think season 1 was really interesting. I really enjoyed the show itself. I thought the cases were cool and made for a good watch. The main or the undercurrent plot threads didn't get too in the way, and most of the problems revolved around the cases themselves and not necessarily the main characters, with some exceptions. I think this is not on the show's fault, it's weirdly my expectations now. I wish that Belgium itself would have been more of a feature, more of a character in the show. Other than the Belgian flag waving in front of the police station, it didn't feel Belgian to me. I'm not saying that there should be like a monument or somebody eating a waffle or anything like that. Please don't take it in that direction. I wish I would have seen more cinematography that kind of reflects the area better. I think that's what I'm trying very poorly to say. I wanted to see more of Belgium, I guess. I've never been, and I'm very curious. Have you watched Unité Calendar, Unit 42? Are you into procedurals in general? Which do you prefer? The legal ones, the police ones, the medical ones? I'm really curious. I think overall I'm more into medical ones, but I haven't enjoyed a good one in a while. And thank you, as always, for watching. I really appreciate it. And if you could, hit that little like button and that subscribe button. Word articulation. I would really appreciate it. Thanks, and have a wonderful week. Bye!